Director Woo's weight dropped. It wasn't a raid. It was a massacre, sir. Seeing that the director's spirit seemed unstable, the chairman did not make it difficult for him, but instead let him return to rest. Inside the director's office, he was still thinking about attacking the dungeon, collecting bodies, and even mining. It couldn't be called a one-man raid team anymore. It had to be called the one-man guild. He himself is a guild member. As expected, I have never looked at the wrong person before, most likely the Korean hunter map. Oh no, it must be said that the whole world will likely be in turmoil soon. In Japan, Tokyo Shinjuku, a supergiant red gate appeared in the sky of Japan. All the cyclists and cars on the road were dumbfounded by what happened before their eyes. Just looking at that size is enough to call that dungeon a monster. All the leaders are discussing. This is a catastrophe. Shortsword, Black Hole, Undefeated King, and Snowy Mountains guilds are all here. For Japan to be called the guild masters of all the large guilds, it's a big deal. A person there was surprised and shouted, look, isn't that the Shortsword Guild's vice chair, Sugimoto? There's S-rank hunters from the main force too. Hey stupid, he isn't the vice chair anymore, but the guild master. Didn't they lose 7 S-rank hunters, including Goto Ryuji during the last Jeju Island raid? Didn't they lose 7 S-rank hunters, including Goto Ryuji during the last Jeju Island raid? Everyone is saying that the Matsumoto Association's president is on his last straw. They had a monopoly over all the S-rank hunters, so it's nice to see them suffer a little. The Short Sword Guild is over now. If we work hard, we could become Japan's greatest guild in the future. Before the words can be finished, all the S-rank hunters looked at the group of people with angry eyes. They felt scared, so they quickly left. They weren't being this cocky in the past, but now that Mr. Goto isn't here, they are starting to rise up again. Those opportunistic bastards. There are rumors that the Black Hole Guild is going to merge with the Snowy Mountains Guild. The number of S-rank hunters in those two guilds is only 4, the same as our guilds. Do they really think that they'll become Japan's top guild by just merging together? It's laughable. What difference does it make from merger when they are all weak and lack power? A man here is angry. Why is there no response from the Hunters Association? An S-rank gate appears in the middle of Tokyo. So why does the Hunters Association not have a plan yet? Tell us the truth. What will happen if there is a dungeon break? Another person continued. S-rank hunters do not have the ability to defeat an S-rank dungeon, unless we call on the national rank hunters. An old man who was blind in one eye said, Prime Minister, stop gathering the presidents of major associations and asking boring questions. You have seen the gate on Jeju Island and can imagine the results. The blond man said, instead of just criticizing each other, does anyone have any specific plans? Or should we hire Thomas Onder, the annoying guy next door who says, do you think that our country still has funds left to hire someone like Thomas? Also, because of the drastic increase in the number of gates, every country is hiring mercenary hunters from overseas, so other countries can't do anything about it. After listening, the leader immediately replied, I don't know how many hunters can solve the S-gate. There is someone who is willing to help us with payment, Yuri Orlov. I think we should hire him. The scene changes to Jin Woo driving a car on the road. Now that he has reached level 101, the Cartman Temple has been opened. The specialized skill of level 101 has also been upgraded. Jin Woo curious what will happen at level 102. He also remembered that Jin Ho handled all the errands himself, fulfilling his duties as a deputy, which was good. But perhaps he should hire more staff. Suddenly Jin Woo saw Cha-hae in walking by who still seemed jealous, so she ran away. Jin Woo used lightning speed to move towards Cha-hae in, Why did you see me running? You came to my office, right? Realizing that he was being grabbed, Cha-hae it awkwardly replied, That's it, the car. He is in the parking lot. Jin Woo was surprised because he switched balls so he couldn't take the whole car with him. Are you free now? Jin Woo showed a puzzled expression. Cha-hae in secretly thought about the photo taken with Soo-han. Why is it not me but that girl? S level is still better than A level, but could it be that you two are? Jin Woo thought about it and continued. Actually, Hunter Min Byung-gu had something he wanted me to convey about the power that Hunter Sung possesses. Hearing this, Jin Woo was a bit surprised. Wait, let's go to the office and talk more. The room inside lit up. Cha-hae and asked if there was no one inside the office. Jinwoo replied that the vice president had already stayed at the scene. Cha-hae's eyes widened. So it's just me and Sung Jinwoo. Jinwoo brewed a cup of coffee and asked, so how could Min Byung-gu leave a message for me for Cha Hunter? That day I heard his voice. Please convey to me that he must be careful that someone keeps luring me from the darkness. Even though I'm still conscious now, I feel like I've gradually become a blind slave. Even though I'm feeling extremely happy right now. But that made me even more scared. Cha-hae didn't understand what he meant. Min Byung-gu said that the ability was very strong and scary. He had to know about this. Please remember Hunter Sung's real army. Inside the dungeon, Jinwoo was still thinking about the words Cha-hae said earlier. Whether it's real or fake, Jinwoo must find out the nature of this power. Compared to becoming stronger, this issue is much more important. Jinho is still eating and saying, this reminds me of the sea-level dungeon we went to before. Jinwoo saw this and shouted angrily, eat it all and then talk. Jinho asked Jinwoo if the summoned soldiers can know how to act on their own. Just like you and I are having dinner right now. If you feel too busy, just let your summoner handle it. Jinwoo immediately objected. No, in his mind, Jinwoo secretly thought that if the distance was larger, the experience he would receive would decrease. But Jinwoo's hand pointed towards the soldiers. This guy, if you don't pay attention, you won't know what they will do. But is your sister okay? Encountered something like that? Jinwoo sadly replied, it will probably take a while to stabilize. I've left the guys there to guard it, so there's no need to worry. By the way, we have to see what it's doing. Jinwoo closed his eyes to connect his vision with the shadow soldier. The level 2 effect of sense sharing can share vision. As soon as he saw the scene in front of him, a general, it turned out to be Beru watching TV while Jinho was still sleeping soundly. The girl was sleeping soundly while Beru was watching TV. He had become addicted to watching TV since he used some strange words. He likes drama, so elsewhere his mother is going to the supermarket to shop. President Bok and Choi are arguing with each other and Cha-hae is. A hot scene appeared before Jinwoo's eyes. Cha-hae was sitting in the bathtub. Looking at this, Jinwoo blushed a bit. Jin coughed and asked if he was sleeping. Embarrassed, Jinwoo turned to the side and thought, I have to go apologize to her someday. Jinho continued asking, that's right, have you heard the news? Big brother. In Japan's Shinjuku, an S-Class gate just appeared. It's been open for 3 days now. I heard they are recruiting hunters from other countries. Have they contacted you? Jinwoo was also surprised that time passed a bit quickly. He replied, they were in contact, but because there was something more urgent. He was still thinking. Holding the key in Jinwoo's hand, he thought to himself, the system invitation has been sent. Can I find any answers there? What am I after all? Is it possible to know now? Okay, just one more day and I will definitely find the truth. Jinwoo left without forgetting to tell Jinwoo to get up and do something. In America, there is a man named Yuri Orlov. He says he is known as #1 in the mercenary world. He had already read the documents sent by the Short Sword Association. Evacuating the people in the city is the right choice. Because of the lack of experienced manpower, Japan can currently only mobilize 6 S-level hunters, right? The guild leader replied, yes, because each guild needs to retain an S-level hunter to prevent further A-level gates from appearing. We plan to mobilize 4 people and keep 1 S-level person. He replied that it's not possible. It's too bad. How can we protect the country like this? The starting fee is $3.6 billion. The following days, each day is $10 million. Oak, if you cooperate, I will clean the gate in the time you want. He heard the unreasonable price and shouted, $10 million a day. His expression is still as cunning. Just paying $3.6 billion in a year can save the life of an entire country, not 36,000 billion. Compared to Thomas, the price is still cheaper. Do you know Russian? What is this guy saying? She replied. Even though she didn't really understand, she was sure that it wasn't going to be a good thing. He still calmly asked, how about $10 million a day for the whole country to live? Don't you all regret a few dollars? Why would you abandon your country? He now burst out laughing. Do you really think you have the luxury of being choosy right now, when it might not even be enough if you were to beg me while licking my boots? The president looked angry. But are you confident in your abilities? He calmly replied, of course, hiring me is more beneficial than hiring these mediocre guys. Do you need to think anymore? Over here, 2 other hunters are still very angry. Is he barking nonsense? Even though I don't understand what he said, it's definitely true. He was still sitting on the chair but was able to use magic power to block the movements of the 2 of them. It's so scary. His words were full of challenges. If I don't allow it, you won't be able to take a single step. So just go. Their faces were now extremely scared. How could he imprison us S-class hunters like this? Damn, this cramped feeling. He was still like that, with a sinister look on his face. I will handle the S-rank dungeon. I will give you more monster corpses. How can we both benefit from such a transaction? Mr. Buku sobbed. I have already determined your capabilities. However, with such money, I am not sure whether the government will accept it or not. For now, perhaps trusting him is the best method. Jin Woo here is preparing to go out. She looks thoughtful and asks, son, I don't need to worry about you, right? Yes, I have an appointment. Holding the key in his hand, Jin Woo's eyes were a bit determined. He really wanted to discover the truth. Notification system. The location of the gate has been made public. At the school, 2 gates suddenly appeared at the same time. 2 staff members were chatting with each other. Luckily, the students were on break. Otherwise, it would have been difficult to control the situation. Jin Woo's figure gradually appeared. The employee tried to move forward to stop her, but realized it was Jin Woo, so she stopped her actions. He asked her how long it had been since the portal appeared. It's been 3 days. Jin Woo gritted his teeth. He was fooled. The system only said that the information about the gate had been made public, not that the gate was open at this time. Unexpectedly, it has been open for 3 days already. As he walked, Jin Woo also commented that it was about sea level. Although the level was not very high, he asked her if the hunters had already gone inside. She replied that they had entered 2 hours ago. Hearing this, Jin Woo urgently ordered them to stop. The employee was puzzled and said, but according to the measured results, it is only level C. Jin Woo was angry. The attack team there is in danger. If they don't stop, they will all die. Then Jin Woo walked into the confusion of everyone around. I will go pick up the attack team. At this time, inside the dungeon, the group of hunters was standing in front of the gate of Kartanon Temple. They were discussing how to open this door. Jin Woo came from behind and shouted, it's a trap. Someone inside asked who Jin Woo was. He introduced himself as a survivor of the double dungeon. Hearing this, they were a bit suspicious. Maybe he was some Jin Woo. Really, it's S-rank hunter some Jin Woo. Jin Woo warns them that this place is very dangerous. I will take over this place, so you guys should return quickly. Holding the doorknob in Jin Woo's hand, he realized it couldn't be opened due to the magic present. Notification system. The temple is currently locked. Please use the key to open it. Jin Woo took out the key and thought, different from last time. That's why we need the key. Everyone watching behind was also surprised when Jin Woo was able to open that door. Apparently no one inside could open it. The raid leader saw this and came forward to demand justice. This dungeon was bought by the Brave Guild's attack team, so we have the right to exploit it. You have no right to ask us to go out. The group of people behind also followed suit, right? So what about S-level? Jin Woo saw their stubbornness and replied, I'm not stopping you. If anyone wants to come in, feel free to come in. He rushed inside. The system confirms that this person does not possess a key and has just entered the temple and does not allow intrusion. A giant stone knight came from nowhere brandishing his sword. The captain was about to lose his life when Jin Woo saved his life. That attack was so powerful that it made a large hole in the ground. Jin Woo now turned to him and told him there were all those animals inside. Do you want to come in again? Listen clearly from now on. Go out and contact the association for me and tell them the double dungeon has appeared. The gate finally closed and the torches were gradually lit. The scene is still the same without changing at all. I'm back again. But I'm different from that time, and I clearly feel that these stone statues are not living creatures. They are just puppets in someone's hands. The only person who can use magic power in this room is you. Are you going to keep quiet? Answer me. The statue now gave Jin Woo a devilish smile. His eyes lit up. You finally got here. Outside, the press was shouting his name. Yuri Orlov, they were interviewing him about blocking that gate. He said that he had only one way to stop it. I would draw a large magic circle around the gate and then pour magic power into it, and everything inside the gate cannot get out. After listening, they asked even more enthusiastically. He explained that magic was maintained by absorbing surrounding magic power. If a large amount of mana stones were placed in the Tokyo area, the magic circle would absorb that magic power. It has the same principle as starting a car. When the barrier is activated, it will absorb the force and become a solid wall. That will be how I save you. Remember the name of the person who saved your life. President Go and the director watched the live broadcast. He also did not know whether Yuri Orlov could block the S-rank gate or not, but we can completely know what would happen if he failed. It's all out next. Having said that, he turned to ask Director Woo, how is Hunter-some Jin Woo these days? The director looked at the Hunter tracking map and said that Jin Woo was currently at a gate in the Seoul area, because it overlaps with the operating area of the White Tiger Hunter and MANHWA Association. I will worry about collisions. The president also commented that it was truly funny that a small-scale association had exactly one fighter and could compete with a large association. The two of them were chatting when suddenly Director Woo received a phone call, so he asked permission to go out to answer the phone. The president had nothing to do, so he left because he also had things to take care of. Inside the phone, someone reported that something happened at the school before the works appeared. The director heard that. Asking about the situation, they said that nothing happened at that gate, but a new gate had just appeared there. A double dungeon, and worker Song Jin Woo had already entered it. Inside the double dungeon, the statue begins to destroy the stele outside it, stating that Jin Woo has finally arrived. Jin Woo saw the broken stone and continued. It turns out that what was written on the stone had no meaning at all. What he said makes sense, but now it's no longer important. Jin Woo still stood there and asked, the thing that called me here was you, right? That's right. It shows a mysterious smile. Jin Woo asked if he was a demonic beast, but he told him to ask the question wrong. Who am I? But I should ask, who are you? This is the final test. After the test ends, if you can still survive, I will tell you everything that is my reward. Jin Woo was about to summon the Shadow Soldier to start the match, but was stopped by him. Dedicated skill notification system is limited because of the final test. He continued to add, I just want to check on you alone. I'm not curious about your subordinates. The shop also couldn't be used. Now Jin Woo could only do it alone until the end of the test. Currently, Jin Woo cannot use any skills, so he will choose to defeat the soldiers with his own abilities. With just his bare hands, Jin Woo used his own strength to defeat all the stone knights one by one. One by one, each animal fell down. A guy holding a bow from afar was about to attack, but Jin Woo had already noticed it, so he used a dagger to cut it in two. Before long, Jin Woo had defeated almost everyone. The other guy was also extremely impressed with Jin Woo's fighting power. With just a human body, being able to do this was a success in puberty. The more Jin Woo hit, the harder he hit. He finally caught up with the soldiers' speed and was able to defeat them easily. He complimented me, but then he said the test was almost over. He summoned the man sitting on the throne, who was also the strongest stone statue here. It's time to worship the gods. At the Hunter Association headquarters, the leader of the Japanese Hunter Association is offering a contract pledging to give up ownership of magic stones in Jeju Island. The president looked surprised and asked him again, what's wrong? His expression was serious. We want to hire Hunter-some Jinwoo instead. The association president gave a confident smile and said, haha, I'm sorry, but he doesn't belong to the Hunter Guild. The leader said he knew that. However, without going through the association, there is no way to contact him. They don't want you to ask him to help us, but just want to find an opportunity to negotiate. The president heard this and thought a little. For this opportunity did they give up such a large amount of money? Perhaps because they have now lost Ryujigoto, they don't have enough force to block the S-class gate anymore. However, if you consider the amount of money to hire Hunter-some Jinwoo, this seems like a good deal. Thinking a bit, he nodded in agreement. I want to talk without an interpreter. The leader's expression was a bit surprised. Can he speak Japanese? His eyes were extremely serious, and he replied, when I was a child, my father had a small store in Japan, so he knew a little about it. Matsumoto Chief Association. If you're thinking about playing tricks, you should stop. After listening, the captain was a bit confused. What do you mean? The chairman said, like an old man, I heard that you were aggressive with the Short Sword Association, right? Hearing this, the captain was no longer calm. He stood up and loudly banged on the table. How do you know that? He replied, as far as I know, the Short Sword Association has refused funding from the Japanese Hunters Association. I also heard rumors that they only accept government funding. The Short Sword Association is inherently just an arm and leg of the association. Japanese Hunter Guild. Previously, Ryuji Goto could gather S-rank hunters. However, the current situation is a bit difficult because the Short Sword Guild has collapsed, so other guilds are busy competing with each other. The association's control power has decreased, right? If the gate cannot be stopped, this time all the responsibility will fall on you. President Masumoto, although his intentions are a bit dirty, but as a hunter representing the whole country like Goto, he is responsible for making Goto Ryuji disappear from the Short Sword Guild. Responsibility for not being able to control domestic associations, and also responsibility for nefarious schemes. Hearing this, he was speechless. Every word he said was like a chain that tied him tightly, making it impossible for him to deny. The black box attached to your radio transmitter is what Goto's team used. Do you think I don't know? His face has changed. He's not happy anymore. The radiating magic power made the knight on the other side turn pale in fear. The president doesn't care about the use of magic stones, but rather that if he makes this public, the people of the country will also be criticized for his tricks. As soon as he finished speaking, he squeezed the machine so hard it broke. The power was so great that just one squeeze of the hand caused the table to crumble. However, I will not do such a careless thing. There is no way that because of the tricks of someone like you, I can put an entire country, no, the entire Asia, into danger. You have Hunter Song Jin Woo to thank. The scene changes to the dungeon. Jin Woo is still trying his best to defeat those stone men. They rush towards Jin Woo in rows and rows. Realizing that the boss was about to attack, he couldn't dodge the attack in time, so Jin Woo used his ruler's hand to attract the two stone knights over there to block the attack from the boss. With Jin Woo's current ability, if he gets hit with one attack, he will definitely be defeated. As expected, we still have to deal with the leader first. Jin Woo accelerated as much as possible towards the boss. It raised its foot to stomp on Jin Woo, but it didn't hit. A blue light emitted from the smoke, surprising it a bit. Jin Woo rushed up from below, but the monster continued to attack. Jin Woo quickly used the ruler's power to hide in its hidden corner to avoid the attack. The skill's power was increased a little, but it was extremely strong. The difference was so great that even Jin Woo could easily recognize. If it increased, the skill would definitely be even better. Standing on the monster's shoulders, Jin Woo held two daggers and used the dagger skill to attack the boss, but such an attack could only leave scratches on its face. It showed an evil smile at Jin Woo. Feeling like he couldn't do more damage with a knife, Jin Woo started working as a miner. Using his bare hands, Jin Woo took advantage of the rifts to deal damage to the boss. The blows were continuously delivered until he swung the powerful blow that caused its face to break on one side. The creator of the system smiled. I didn't expect you to treat my work like that. Jin Woo threw another attack, this one using all of his level 103 power. This attack is so powerful that it causes the boss to collapse on the ground. The three stone men were about to attack, but Jin Woo continued to use the ruler's hand skill to defeat them. Looking at the corpses of the monsters around him, Jin Woo also admitted that because of the battle, his fighting ability had developed a level higher. The creator of the system now clapped his hands. Indeed, my son, haha. Jin Woo looked at him and said, keep your promise. He smiled and said the test wasn't over yet because I was still here. Jin Woo received a notice that an emergency mission had appeared. He said he was Jin Woo's final test. Within 10 minutes, you must defeat him. The time begins to count down. Jin Woo remained calm and asked, who are you at the end? He still smiled and replied that your question was too stupid, but he would answer. He said he was the one who created the system. Are you satisfied with this answer? Outside the gate, Director Woo brought 7 of the association's most elite hunters here. Although they don't know how to help Jin Woo, they are just preparing for the worst-case scenario. As soon as the director stood in front of the gate, its pressure was enough to make him sweat. His mouth stammered, what is it? Can't you feel it? The magical storm was terrible. The director turned to tell everyone, "Is there any big guild nearby waiting for the raid team?" Someone said that the Hunter Guild is waiting to raid. What about the two S-rank hunters? Another person continued, "Hunter Choi and Hunter Char are both waiting to join the raid." Sending an urgent request for assistance to the Hunter Association, he gritted his teeth and thought, "Hunter some Jin Woo, who are you anyway?" Inside, Jin Woo stood before the system creator. Its original 6 wings had become 6 arms. It quickly disappeared to Jin Woo's surprise. In the blink of an eye, 6 arms attacked Jin Woo but were still blocked by him. However, because he was so big and strong, he easily pushed Jin Woo a few meters away. Jin Woo was hit by this attack and immediately stuck to the wall. His eyes broadened and he almost lost consciousness. Because the main character's aura was so great, Jin Woo stood up and continued to attack in less than a second. The creator of the system continued to attack, thinking he had been hit, but who would have thought that Jin Woo was able to defuse his attack? The two continued to exchange punches with each other, but it was 2 hands fighting with 6, 7, or 8 hands. He was pushed back a few meters and excitedly said, "I didn't expect that I would feel this happy when fighting a human. In my whole life, I never thought that a human could become an opponent. Mine, it's so much fun." Jin Woo over here thought to himself. He invited me here when I reach level 101, which means that at this level I can beat him. He is very strong, but not necessarily immortal. You designed the system. I still have many things to ask. Why did you create the system, and why did you choose me as a player? What is happening in this world? He attacked Jin Woo. Okay, but you seem to think that if you kill me, you will get the answer. Jin Woo thought to himself. Close combat with him is too disadvantageous. Jin Woo saw that and used the ruler's power to attack from afar, but the system was not easy to defeat. He also used that skill. So attacking from afar had no meaning anymore. He now used the 6 arms on his back to summon weapons from the stone knights to his hands. He held the weapons in his hand and said that whether Jin Woo killed him or let him live, his answer was that everything was predetermined. Since the time he designed everything, Jin Woo was a bit unbelievable. "You can design all of these things. How can you give me this power?" He calmly replied that he did not choose Jin Woo. On the contrary, he even protested. He just designs and operates everything. This system was created to train players to praise themselves for their perfect design. With only about 6 minutes left, Jin Woo's only choice was to fight in close combat. During the remaining time, he had to fight with all of his might. He approached and used the 6 weapons in his hand to attack Jin Woo crazily, but he still avoided it. I don't understand why Jin Woo feels like his body is recovering right now. Jin Woo's will is determined to do it himself. Swords, spears, axes, hammers, knives, he could feel their movements. The system creator was also extremely surprised when Jin Woo could easily block and reflect his attack. Furthermore, Jin Woo's speed became faster and faster. His arms fell one by one. However, he still shouted loudly. This body of his was just a fake, so he didn't feel any pain. But at this moment, he also understood why Jin Woo was chosen by that person as the fusion. There really wasn't much time left. He was still angry and screaming. He then summoned all the soldiers that could still fight to attack Jin Woo. The time now remains 3 minutes and 15 seconds. Jin Woo accelerated to his maximum speed and rushed to attack the Stone Knights, but unfortunately one of them slashed him, causing him to be thrown far away. Jin Woo's position fell right where the knight holding the shield was. It seemed like it couldn't attack, so he single-handedly smashed its head to relieve its anger. After a few rounds of fighting in less than a minute, the creator of that strange system was held at knife point by Jin Woo. At this time, he also admitted that he had truly lost to Jin Woo. He now pointed at Jin Woo. "The answer is inside you." Hearing this, Jin Woo was a bit confused. He said he would give him the option to see that the data was inside the memory, so Jin Woo also agreed to see. The data was successfully restored. The scene before Jin Woo's eyes had now changed. At this moment, Jin Woo was standing in front of a completely unfamiliar scene. Below were the monsters that often appeared in the dungeon. The number was so large that Jin Woo had to scream, "Oh my God! There are so many monsters gathered here." The monsters at this time all looked up at the same time. Jin Woo didn't understand what was going on and looked after it and discovered that there were many gates opening up there. A purple sky with countless monsters. This doesn't seem to be Earth. There are many monsters similar to ice elves, high orcs, goblins, and giants. If all the monsters advance outside the gate, humanity has absolutely no chance of resisting. However, what they faced was not humanity. The crack in the gate broke, and countless winged warriors appeared. The monsters worked together to fight the silver warriors. The sound of weapons clashing and armor breaking was deafening. The sound of victory was gradually replaced by screams, groans, and the ground was stained red with blood. The silver warriors became stronger after the destruction of the monsters was completed. It seemed certain that the beasts and silver warriors left behind on the battlefield had begun to rise one by one. Jin Woo also realized that it was the Emperor's domain and extracted the shadow, meaning that the other person was the Dark Emperor, possessing the undying legion of the ruler's hand. All the skills that Jin Woo had were the source of this person's power. Dark Emperor. Wherever he goes, destruction will follow. Back to reality, outside the gate of the double dungeon. Choi Jong-in and Cha Hae-in's group along with Director Woo are already outside. Director Woo stood outside and felt it. He immediately realized that this is not Hunter Sung's power. Then whose is it? This is a double dungeon. He will see if the rumors are true. And the director also has a debt to pay to Hunter Sung. So why did Jin Woo come here again? At least he wouldn't be able to say it was accidental. As soon as the door was opened, Hunter Choi was extremely surprised. What is this? Wherever this place is, the director is sweating. It was really here. The stone statues were really here. The creator of the system noticed them entering and turned to ask, "What is this?" I don't remember inviting the humans, yet another scared look on their faces. Everyone here saw the talking statue and was extremely scared. Monster, are you talking? That monster understands human language. He gave a sinister smile. Shut your mouth. You will interrupt the king's sleep. Everyone then noticed that Jinwoo was standing stupidly in one place. So they called out, Hunter Sung Jinwoo, what is he doing there? As soon as he finished speaking, the system creator approached and slashed him. You strong people will be a good sacrifice for the king. Jin Woo was still witnessing the battle in that place. The Dark Lord is leading his army to fight the demons Ricardo, Phaedos, Rokan, Ingress, and the Raiders clan where Azel was. Outside, President Choi ordered the healer to restore Myung Chul and the entire army to focus on the approaching enemy's strength. The system creator now controls the Lord's statue to attack. President Choi, I will give you a chance to see the king reincarnated. That's when you can destroy all my puppets. That will prove any of you will survive. President Choi noticed that the monster was about to attack, so he ordered everyone to quickly duck down. A ray of light shot out from that eye, causing everything it passed to be destroyed. The ground has a very long crack. President Choi just dodged the attack and turned to attack the boss. He ordered the team to attack the statue while it was distracted. Director Woo tried his best to punch the knight straight in the face, but it didn't seem to cause any damage to it. Seeing that, he stepped back to give Choi a chance to attack, but it seemed like it had nothing to do with the fire. This proves that its defense and magic resistance are very high. Tanks now informed Cha Hae-in that his taunting skill was ineffective. Cha Hae-in was also helpless because they were too strong for her to control. Actually, their group of people at this time were all helpless and couldn't do anything. There was only one way for them to wake up Hunter Sung. Choi wasn't sure what would happen, but this was the only way that could wake him up right now. The fire was released, but a shadow passed by to catch Jinwoo, who created that damn system. He angrily shouted, "Dare to wake up the king's sleep!" But before he could attack Choi Jong, and 3 other hunters hit him in the stomach, causing him to be pushed back. Everyone told Cha Hae-in to wake up Hunter Sung as they got in his way. Returning to the battlefield, Jin Woo was still witnessing the battle between the beasts and the Dark Army attacking each other. The Shadow Soldiers continuously revived even when they were torn to pieces. If it were me, that magic would probably kill me. I don't know how great that power is. The Marrow clans along with objects appeared at the 2 gates. They destroyed the Shadow Soldiers without the slightest hesitation. If this was a battle between a monster and a silver warrior, then there would be no reason for them to fight. Meaning that the army of darkness is not on the same side as the monsters. If that's not the reason, then is it internal conflict? The Dark King approached and asked the Demon King if we could end the war today. Why did you choose to betray me? He barely survived and replied, What a waste, I could have ended you. The Dark King was angry and asked again. I ask why. He started laughing. Ha ha, wings. Hearing this, the king was no longer calm. He used the power of a ruler to crush the other man's head. Jinwoo now realized that he was in the body of that king. In front of him was the demon Lord Baron. Jinwoo is also confused. Don't know what's going on. His body now has two hearts. Jinwoo's eyes also changed. Silver warriors appeared in the sky, and the system announced. The data retrieval was complete. The system creator now showed a sinister smile. You are very interesting, human. Try exiting my settings again. Cha-hey, and now uses sword dance skills. Well, sword skill must be like that, ha ha. The creator of the system was able to damage her after a few moves. Cha-hey, and stepped back in pain. He replied that his setup could predict and deal with all possible outcomes. Little things like this couldn't break his setup. Since they entered here, they no longer had any choice. Cha-hey and attacked him once, then moved towards Jinwoo to wake him up. The system creator quickly chased after her, but she was able to dodge in time. Good dodging skills. According to the rules of this room, no one is allowed to leave here. You are human. The king sent dark soldiers to follow. How did you find this place? What relationship do you have with some Jinwoo? Friends are friends. We came to save Hunter some Jinwoo. He gave an evil smile. Is it the king's intention? Very well, I will give you a favor. Today one of the great kings has descended to earth. I will grant you the honor of witnessing this spectacle. But besides you, all other humans must die here. Jinwoo suddenly woke up. He walked over and punched the system creator straight in the face, causing his face to break. Jinwoo asked what he did to his body. Everyone saw that Jinwoo had awakened, so they breathed a sigh of relief. Like a king, Jinwoo stepped on that guy's face. He shouted, "Are you not the king? Why not him but you? How can you possess Black Heart and still be able to control yourself?" Black Heart? Hearing this, Jinwoo was a bit confused. Is this terrible magic power thanks to the heart? System also announced. Title: Demon Hunter. Requirement: Ditch and Met. Recover the memory of defeating Baron, the king of demons, the White Flame Lord. The great power recognized the player. Effect: Black Heart mana plus 100,000. Looking at that guy's reaction, Jinwoo was certain of two things. Black Heart was not the result he created, and Black Heart was not inherently beneficial to him. Restored data is not the answer. I haven't heard it all. Jinwoo looked at him with murderous eyes and asked him, "You said you were against choosing me as a player, right? So what do you play? What are you going to do to me?" He gasped in surprise. "Do you think the other lords will leave us here?" From inside space, Jinwoo summoned his daggers and stabbed that guy's face and said, "Answer my question." He laughed. "Ha ha, this is something beyond my expectations. I gradually understand why I chose you." People also didn't understand why the stone statues were standing still as it did, but now they seemed to start moving again. "Ha ha, now that you kill me, nothing can stop them." "Then do you still want to kill me?" Jinwoo said. "So what if I kill you and then deal with all your dolls?" He was scared and said, "If you kill me, the person who set up the system, you will." Jinwoo smiling. "I might go back to being an E-Ray hunter, right? I've wondered if the person who set up the system disappeared. Would this system disappear?" He shouted. "If so, even if I force you, I will." The system has now blocked the system administrator's access rights. He is also surprised and does not understand why this is happening. Jinwoo gently said, "Yes, I have been wondering for a long time that I took advantage of the system and took over your system design, which is full of errors." He saw that and screamed in helplessness, and Jinwoo finally sent him to hell with one blow. Before he died, he said that this was not a prediction but a prophecy. When the empty pillars of fire are erected, the death you cannot avoid will come. Jinwoo turned to look at him. "You are welcome." The battle ended in victory. Outside the gate, everyone is standing there waiting for the results. Hunter Guild members have been in there for more than an hour. What's going right? If we enter the guild, we will be completely destroyed. Suddenly someone shouted, "The hunters are out." Everyone in the raid team appeared looking extremely tired. Cha-hae-in lost her strength after the match, so she needed Choi-jong in to help her out. The leader of the dungeon raid group was initially scared when he saw this scene. Did the elite members of the Hunter Association go out looking like that? What the hell happened in a C-class gate like that? They were worried and approached to ask about the situation. Director Woo asked if they were a brave group. Please help him move those who died in battle out. When they heard that, they were a little panicked, but then they accepted the order immediately. Jin Woo's battered body walked outside. Perhaps the programmer had another self. Even though I haven't heard the answer yet, he won't bother to tell me anyway. The director here said that nearly 20 high-ranking hunters were killed. If the dungeon cracks, there's no telling how much more damage will occur. Fig Hunter Jinwoo, you said you wanted to block the gate yourself, right? Looking at the corpses of high-ranking hunters lying before his eyes, Jinwoo thought to himself that although he had asked the Brave Guild to report about the double dungeon, he did not expect that they would call someone here to help. That's why I caused such casualties, and thanks to the Hunter Association and the Supervisory Board, I was able to save my life. Director Woo exclaimed. Even though S-Class hunters have been mobilized, the Supervisory Board still doesn't know anything about this. I guess it might be because the Hunter Association proactively asked for cooperation, yet the result is still this disaster. How did Hunter-san Jinwoo know there were dual dungeons here? Jinwoo left with a confusing statement. This dungeon called me. Call. That's right, I received a message calling me here. The director still didn't believe it. Can I see that message? Jinwoo said he was sorry, but only he himself could read it. After listening to the answer, the director thought to himself that he would not joke in this injured state. I honestly can't understand what happened anymore. After being recovered, Chae-in worriedly asked, Hunter Jinwoo, are you okay? Jinwoo replied, yes, of course I am. No, I'm just a little tired. Jinwoo then fainted in everyone's surprise. Fig Hunter Jinwoo. Fig Hunter Jinwoo. At the huge S-Class gate, carts full of mana stones were being transported to where Yuri Orlov stood. 200,000 tons of mana stone, enough magic power to put into the magic circle, create a magic barrier around the gate, and add magic power to create the matrix with mana stone. Then the magic circle will gather magic power. And that's it. It's okay. But it's really strange. The employee next to me didn't understand what was going on, so he asked, is there something wrong? No, the magic circle is perfect. It's just that there seems to be someone nearby. Who are you? Where are you hiding? He turned to the building in the distance without saying anything else. The employee saw that, so he asked, tomorrow the dungeon will crack. But is there someone so bold that he dares to stay here? He smiled and replied, I didn't say it was a person. Sun Il-won, standing above the building, also exclaimed, he has keen senses. Well, considering where his power comes from, there's nothing strange about it. But it has finally begun. Everything is going according to plan. A devastating tragedy will happen. Here all the troops and hunters are gathering ready for battle. A hunter with a short shirt revealing his stomach said that modern guns are not effective against monsters. Do we need to mobilize more troops? In case Yuri Orlov fails, it should buy time for the hunters on the front lines to prepare to attack. So it's cannon fodder. How is it any different from people on the front line like me? The purpose is just to test how helpless humans are in the face of disaster. Here Yuri Orlov is walking on a path filled with mana stones. Perfect. Very good. If it's okay, I can handle the S-Class gate alone. Although I want to hear people tell how a man single-handedly took care of an S-Class gate. Unfortunately, there are hunters who are more suitable for it than me, so I can't be greedy. The employee saw him take out a bottle of wine and immediately shouted, Mr. Jury cannot drink wine. He still had a smile on his face. Just make a cup to relieve stress. I'll show you a unique performance. There are several S-rank hunters waiting. So, he replied, a total of 15 people. So that's quite a bit. What is America doing? Don't they help Japan's S-rank hunters? He replied that an S-Class gate had just appeared in Eastern Maryland, USA, not only in Japan, but also in England and India. Yuri raised his worried eyes to the sky and said, the whole world is suffering from a serious lack of manpower. Suddenly he shouted, the gate is open. Scene change at the hospital. Sung Jinwoo has now regained consciousness. Jin Ho happily saw that and ran in. Big brother, Jinwoo bewilderedly asked Jin Ho what happened. Jin coughed, seeing that, and screamed, crying, why are you just waking up now? I thought you were really dead. Who would have thought he slept for 3 days straight? Jinwoo exclaimed, have you been sleeping for 3 days? Yes, I was very worried, boss. Jin Woo thought. After 3 days, it seemed like my fatigue had accumulated quite a bit after a long time of not resting, and the vision the programmer had shown me in my mind was still extremely clear. Wait, I've been sleeping for 3 days, so... Hey, Jin Ho, how's it going? Jin coughed in confusion, so he asked again. Yes, what are you asking? What happened to the S-Class gate appearing in Japan? Hearing this, he finally understood Jin Woo's question. That Jin Ho turned away. His expression was difficult to say. Scene changed back to Japan in front of the Red Gate. A bull-headed demonic beast appeared in front of everyone carrying around such terrifying magical power that it created purple lightning around it. It's huge. Did the demonic beast that was the boss at the A-level gate appear right away? Yuri stood aside calmly, threw his wine bottle on the ground and said, This is not a problem for me. His hand began to perform magic. The power of the mana stone is moving around the red gong. The demon beast, now surrounded by Yuri Orlov's power, also began to feel uncomfortable. Ah ha ha! Who would have thought that magical beasts that were only seen at level A gates would appear? Do you have enough strength to penetrate my defense wall? Before the bull-headed monster could do anything, an even larger hand approached and pushed it away while Yuri witnessed it. An even more gigantic orc. Yuri Orlov's expression changed. His eyes widened in horror. That giant monster could destroy his defenses in just one blow. That's what Jin Ho told Jin Woo. Hunter Yuri Orlov has failed. At the construction company's office, Jin Ho's father just woke up, his expression a bit uncomfortable. He asked the employee how long he had been sleeping. He replied that he had been asleep for 23 hours and 46 minutes, according to the president's instructions. If after 24 hours you don't wake up, I would have taken you to the hospital. But first I have 2 news to inform you. One is that a patient has woken up from eternal sleep. Hearing that, he asked again, Did the patient wake up from eternal sleep? Yes, she is the mother of Hunter-san Jinwoo. The chairman's face was full of fatigue. It seemed like he'd also had the ability to cure eternal sleep. I know. So what is the other news? And we found the young lady. A short-haired girl came inside with a sad face and asked, Since when did you become like this? Switching back to the battle, Yuri Orlov saw that he couldn't beat the monster, so he tried to run away, but in the end he gently put it in his mouth. The army here has already attacked other monsters. The ammunition seems to have no effect on them. The hunters here are ready to attack the monsters. The sword-wielding hunter thought to herself that if she destroyed one of his eyes, he wouldn't be able to see movement on this side. Before she could act, the demonic beast realized the danger and swung an axe at her. The female hunter has difficulty dodging. Can it be so fast with that size? It's absurd, the helicopter above announced. We were in the sky over Tokyo. The scene was so desolate that we could see it clearly even from a great distance, as if we were in hell. Everyone was focusing all their attention on the hunters and praying they could prevent this disaster. Jin Woo observed the match news and thought to himself, If this continues, everything will be like at the Judge Gate. The whole of Asia will be in danger. I have to hurry. Suddenly a voice rang out from behind Jin Woo. Don't go, don't go. Jin Woo turned around with a gentle expression. Why do you say that? The little girl replied, Because I knew you would come there. Jin Ha's expression was now full of contemplation. Jin Woo was also heartbroken when he saw it. He stood up and rubbed Jin Ha's head. No, I won't go anywhere. I've worked too much, so I'll rest for a while, don't worry. Outside the park, the scene was as deserted as it was on Jeju Island. Jin Woo summoned Beru, who immediately appeared and greeted Jin Woo with the title of Lord. Jin Woo heard that, so he asked him, I ordered you to protect Jin Ha, but recently you've been into drama movies. I know everything. How is Jin Ha? Beru reported the situation every day, other than sleeping. There was nothing special. Hearing that, he thought to himself that it seemed like she was mentally traumatized. Except for my first grade 4 years ago, she has never stopped me. What should I do? While walking around the street, a car blocked Jin Woo's way. At Jin Ho's father's company, Jin Woo asked him why he called him here. He smiled and greeted Jin Woo, introducing himself as Yu Munhan, president of Yu Construction Group. I'm not the arrogant type of person who believes that money can buy anything. And since you're an S-class hunter, this is even more impossible. So I would be very grateful if you understand that this is a little bit of my sincerity. Seeing this, Jin Woo also realized that this seemed to be a secret meeting that could not be disclosed to the outside, and it was not like he was recruiting him to join the corporation. Seeing that, Jin Woo asked him what he wanted from him. He replied sadly, "Actually, I am also suffering from the same disease as your mother." Hearing this, Jin Woo was a bit surprised. He asked, "Does Jin Ho know?" Mr. Answer, "Except for the doctor in charge, my wife and the third person, my secretary, know about this. So I'm the fourth person then." "Yes," he continued. "In the process of searching for ways to treat the disease, I discovered that there is only one person in the whole world who can wake up from eternal sleep, Hunter Sung's mother." The fact that Hunter Sung's mother was the only one to wake up was obviously not a coincidence, right? "What I want to know from you is how you managed to cure this disease. If you help me, I will never forget today's favor." Jin Woo saw that and remained silent without answering. Returning to the battle at the S-Class gate in Japan, the reporters on the helicopter were commenting. How tragic, the building was in ruins, and the trees were uprooted as if all traces of humanity were being wiped out. And the scariest part is that they also eat human flesh. If so, then if they're not within reach, they won't attack first. So we're safe for now. I have verified this through several observations. The others all scattered in all directions while the biggest giant in the group of giants just stood still, guarding the gate alone. Is he waiting for someone or is he holding a tower? Who knows the reason? This is just my personal opinion, but I don't have the feeling that he is alive. He is clearly still breathing and moving normally, but I keep feeling like he is like a machine moving according to programming. What machine? Even if it's a real machine, it's still a machine that can attack. Of the 31 giants that emerged from the gate, only 2 were defeated. How many days has the gate been open? The cameraman next to me replied that it's been 2 days now. Is it possible to stop them before this place is completely destroyed? Ha! Jin Ho here shouted. Big brother said you were going to Japan. Don't you watch the news? This time the scale is completely different from the one on Jeju Island. I've lived for so many years and have never seen a monster that big. Jin Woo smiled. If successful, the name of the Jin group will be famous. Jin Ho's expression was a bit awkward, but still, Jin Woo thought to himself. Even a guy like Jin who always trusts and worships him is so worried about this disaster. I know, boss. I'll go with you. After hearing this, Jin Woo was also surprised and didn't know why. Jin Ho continued. The Red Gate incident, the incident on Jeju Island, and most recently, the recent Double Dungeon incident. Do you know what they have in common? Hearing that, he also gave up. Jin Ho held the newspaper in his hand and cried, saying you weren't there. Big brother, I can only scream loudly in front of everyone when I'm with you. Although it sounds a bit gay to say it, you are my pride. Those are not words that should be spewed from the mouth of a second-generation tycoon uncle. Jin Ho, with a determined look on his face, said, So I also want to go with Big Brother. You have to take me there. Jin Woo said, I don't mean to stop you, but don't you remember where I'm going? If you're safe, I'm fine. I trust you. Jin Woo smiled and said, joking, who would go to Japan at this time? Boss, Jin Woo is still walking today. Let's get off work. Bye. Jin Woo thought outside on the street. Although I can't use shadow soldiers, the one who set it up is a level almost like above level 100. That means there are still people stronger than me. This world is very large enough to accommodate millions of people stronger than me. I should stop thinking that it's my turn to take action to solve the problem. I'm not a hero. His mother is right in front of the house waiting for him to come home. She smiled brightly and asked, Are you home? Let's have dinner. At the dining table, Jin Woo did not see Jin Ha. So when he turned to ask, the mother also answered. He said he didn't want to eat. The scene changes back to when Jin Woo is sitting in the chairman's office. He pushes the lightning plate towards him. I'm sorry, but I can't help you. When he saw this action, he was also a bit surprised. So how did Hunter Sung's mother completely recover? Jin Woo shook his head and said, Chairman, if I knew the reason and wanted to make money from it, why did I keep my mouth shut until now? Jin Woo finished speaking and stood up to leave. In the elevator, Jin Woo breathed a sigh of relief. After all, he is Jin Ho's father, but I don't know what kind of person he is, this famous president. Is he really sick or is there some plan? I still can't determine it. There is very little remaining water of life, so the only thing left to do is use it carefully. Although the conditions offered were very attractive, I could not be swayed. If now is the time to choose everything. Jinwoo sighed and said, Mom, I'm going. Even though I know there are still many people stronger than me, I can still develop my strength, and to get stronger I have to go to the battlefield. She did not answer directly but said, if your father had a phone call to report a fire, even while eating, he would ignore it and run away. Go ahead and eat. I'll prepare your luggage for you. Jinha was in the room lying on one side and heard everything. Jinwoo went inside and asked, Hey Jinha, are you sleeping? Let's talk a little. But the girl refused that. Jinwoo sat on the girl's bed and felt awkward. He said, Your brother almost died recently. He realized that he said something wrong. Jinwoo awkwardly turned to explain. No, it's not like that. But when will I pay you back? I almost died, but this time I really almost died. Why is it more dangerous? Anyway, he could have returned alive. Every time he returns home, he cherishes every moment of returning alive. Caressing the girl's head, he continued, So this time I will also return. Thank you. Jinha heard these words and cried because until now you still didn't look at me and tell me not to go. The little girl cried and said helplessly, You're going to go anyway. Yes. I will be back soon. Don't worry, even if you are far away, I will still protect you. Association President Go Gun-hee holding a press conference. Jinwoo stood in front of everyone shaking hands with the president to prepare for the S-Gate raid in Japan. Jin-ho in front of the airport was carrying a pile of equipment and following Jinwoo. No matter how cool Jinwoo looks, Jin-ho is even more miserable. Perhaps this is the gap between the president and the vice president. Next to the S-Gate, the army is starting to evacuate and move the victims of the raid. There is not enough space to transport all the patients. Can only carry 3 or 4 more people. The old man next to me said, That's impossible. There are more than 10 patients here who can't move. The other soldier shouted, This is not the time to worry about people who don't know when they will die. Those giants are coming this way. If you hesitate here, you'll die. The doctor said, I can't leave the patient behind and go. My wife and I promise to protect the patient to the end. After listening, he sighed. If you have decided like that, I will also stay. We can't run away knowing people are still stuck here. First, let's take refuge inside. As soon as they finished speaking, the demonic beast discovered them. Giants, shoot quickly. A series of ammunition is moving towards the giants, but it seems to have no effect on it at all. While they were about to attack them, a dark shadow appeared and attacked the giant, causing it to fall back. The soldier shouted in horror, What is this? Jinwoo now appeared next to him. It's too dangerous. I have to move to this place. It's too close to the hospital. A huge stone was about to fall on the doctor and his wife. Jin-ho quickly caught it. Jin-ho shouted, I will help them and wait here. Jinwoo stood in front of everyone and replied, Okay, the monsters are being attacked by Jinwoo's shadow soldiers. Jinwoo stood on Jima's back, then jumped down and cut the giant in two. In eastern Maryland, USA, are people shouting for some Jinwoo to come to Japan. From what I've heard, Lady Selner hasn't even released a single level of his power. With that power alone, defeat is certain. Everyone here has been promoted thanks to Lady Selner's power, so everyone clearly understands that ordinary hunters have limits to their abilities. But I heard he's a reawakened hunter. The guy next to him quickly replied, Ha ha, so what? It's obvious that he has an illusion of power. Does he really think those bugs are equal to giants? All hunters that overestimate themselves are bound to get killed. I bet my yacht that he'll die in a day. I bet 2 houses that he will die within 2 days. A man wearing a cotton shirt said, Are you sure about that? I'll bet the Scavenger Guild's building that kid will survive. Besides, we should pay attention to the S-class gate that appears here. Tomorrow the gate will be opened, and among the people here, who knows how many survivors there will be. A bald guy standing next to him thought to himself, This guy is really good at ruining the atmosphere. The Scarface guy said, It's not the first time he's been this weird. Never mind. Thomas replied that playing in Japan might be more fun than in America. By tomorrow, this place will probably be busted. Back in Japan, the reporter was commenting, Ladies and gentlemen, can you believe this scene? Hunter Sum Jinwoo's summoned familiar was defeating the giants. who were eating that giant. This giant is being eaten by insects. A little girl was about to be captured by a giant when she was rescued by a black shadow. His hand fell, and the person who did this was the warrior Agris. Iron from above swung the big axe down on the beast's head, causing its eyes to widen. As soon as he saw that he had defeated a guy, Iron shouted as if he had won, making Igris also feel embarrassed. He smiled at Igris, and Igris turned to pat her head to reassure her. Jin Woo, standing above, saw it and also exclaimed, "Iron seems to have been upgraded, so he is very happy. Fortunately, everything is being arranged well." The soldier next to him saw that the situation was gradually being controlled, so he shyly bowed his head to thank Jin Woo. "Thank you for saving." Before finishing the sentence, Jin Woo gave his thumb to the soldier. "You good, brave soldier." Hearing that, he secretly replied, "Yes, thank you." He happily turned to look at Jin Ho and told him to take this guy to safety. After receiving the order, Jin Ho happily led the way for the soldier to leave. Magic power revolved around Jin Woo's body, so let's start now. Rise. At the Hunter Bureau, supervisory staff announced, Nagoya City has been recovered. Nakatsugawa has been recovered. The bodies of the city's giants have been discovered. Shizuoka has been recovered. Everything was controlled in the captain's surprise. How is this possible?